Hello and welcome to Sega News Bits Extra. I'm your host, George, and with me, like always, is Barry.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about, the first bit of news is actually kind of interesting. Nagashi-sama, is that how you say it in Japan? Talked about in a new interview, or not in an interview, in a stream. They do like a weekly or a monthly stream, and they talk about what's happening in Sega. And one of the things they obviously talked about was the actor that got a cocaine charge, Perry Taki. Is that how you say his name?
Is it? It almost looks like Pierre.
Pierre. We're not French, dude. But why is this guy half French, half Japanese name? All right, whatever. He talked about his arrest with cocaine, saying he was surprised. He heard about it the way everybody else heard about it. And he did talk about that he himself voted to take Judgment out of store shelves. And it's kind of interesting because this is the first game he's directed since Super Monkey Ball. Everything else he's been a producer in. So this is pretty close to his heart. So I'm pretty sure making this decision was not easy for him, but this is what he said. This is the quote. "There is no correct way to deal with the situation. In the end, I also cast my vote for halting sales. Some thought and pointed out this is going too far and it's unrelated to the game itself. And I don't think those opinions are unreasonable either. I can see it from both sides. So when it comes to why I voted for halting sales, it's because it was just after release. If it was an older game released a considerable amount of time ago, our priorities may have been different. And when it was something that had been released only several months prior, I think it's a different conversation." So it did come out a couple of months before this whole thing happened and this whole news, and the news was like worldwide. It was very, very weird. And this is probably one of the first times we saw a Yakuza game getting worldwide press like this, so it was very strange for us. So what do you think about his decision?
I mean, you kind of, as an American, I think this whole thing with how Japan deals with this is kind of bullshit. I think there are much worse things that you can do that warrants this sort of thing. And when really, something like cocaine, that's a personal choice. Yes, it's illegal, but it's also just essentially self-harm when you look at it. Like, all this actor was doing was just taking a drug that affected him. And sure, he's breaking a law, but it's not like he assaulted someone or molested someone. And I feel like in many cultures, that's kind of something that gets you blacklisted. And yet, not to start anything, but in Japan, isn't it pretty easy to be caught with like child porn, or not child porn, but like drawn kiddie porn? Well, I think that's legal, but like there was that mangaka that does Roshin something. It's like a samurai manga, and he got caught with child porn. And somebody was saying that like the way the law worked, that only took into effect some day, that the stuff he had was before that day, or he was selling was before that day. He was selling it. That's what it was. And so they couldn't really charge him with much. So he's out and he's back to doing this weekly manga for, I guess, teenagers. But it's like, his career isn't over, but this guy, his career is over. Even if he doesn't get charged, he won't have a career anymore because of the media, the way it's been portrayed. Right. And I mean, over here we have rock stars who are heavy drug users, and people still pay to go see them. There's no pulling their music off the shelves, but this guy, it's like he does a drug and they're like, no, done. So I get where Nagashi's coming from. I understand that it's a cultural thing in Japan. I think it's bullshit. But obviously I can't. I think the best thing out of this is that it's not affecting the Western release, and I really do have to wonder if Sega of America put their foot down and they're like, this is your shit, you sort it out, but it's not affecting our release, so you guys need to bust your asses, hire a new actor, do all the stuff, because this is your decision and it's not going to hurt our Western sales. That's what I hope happened, because I'd like to see Sega of America grow a bit more of a backbone when it comes to the stupid shit that Japan sometimes does.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that the Yakuza studio has been known for is that they really started hiring like these not Hollywood, whatever they have over there in Japan, right? These movie actors to do roles, and a lot of people have been negative about this. I've been hearing it since like Yakuza 4 and 5, where people have complained that Sega's been hiring these actors because they're not good people. They have a lot of negatives behind them. But like, I never cared, but now it's actually starting to bite them in the ass, because even though he says that they only censored this because it's been recent and they pulled the sales because it's recent, they did censor Yakuza 4 the re-release. I guess it's not technically pulling the old copies of Yakuza 4 off the shelf. It's still there. They still sell it in Japan, but the new one, they censored it. So they put money into censoring the new one. He doesn't really talk about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and he also laughed at the idea that the media was talking about how supposedly Sega had plans for Judgment 2 and Judgment 3, even though he says it's absolutely false, and that they hired the actor as a 3-game deal. He obviously said it's not true. And the last one, which this is obvious was going to happen, was he was bummed that the game had a surge in sales because of the controversy, and that they sold 97% of its stock. So once the remaining 3% are over, there is no more of the old copies with the old actor on the cover. So I'm assuming this is going to be a rare item. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And I think Sega in the future should hire more problematic actors to be in their work, so that, you know, if someone messes up, then the game will sell out. So I'm thinking maybe the next Sonic game should have Bill Cosby as like a character, and maybe Michael Jackson, and Harvey
Michael
Weinstein.
Jackson? Oh man, that'd be a good game.
Yeah.
The next bit of news we're talking about is Streets of Rage 4 shows off a gameplay teaser, and I was actually it's very short. It's only 45 seconds or so, and it basically shows some of the levels that we'll be playing. Some look pretty good, some are like I'm still questionable about, but then when they showed the gameplay, I think that's when I was really, really happy. I like the way that they're doing this like juggling combo system. It's obviously feels like it should be the evolution of Streets of Rage, because a lot of newer games have been messing around with it, but this looks a lot smoother than other games. What do you think about this trailer?
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I think there are some details they really need to start, you know, getting into, and I'm wondering why music is being such a mystery right now. Maybe it's going to be a big reveal that you know who, the man who must not be named, is going to be revealed as the musician for this. And
you think he'll come in for this?
Do you think he will?
I'm hoping he does, because he, for the last, like, I don't know, 10 years, has been kind of living off of the Streets of Rage soundtrack. Like, he'll go, and when he does live shows, the number one requested soundtrack is the Streets of Rage soundtracks. And he's been remixing it, re-releasing it. Not even a couple of years ago, a Japanese label re-released the Streets of Rage soundtrack on CD, and people were getting copyright claims for it. So I'm hoping that, I think they stopped doing that, but but he obviously makes money off of the Streets of Rage name, so I hope he's smart enough to want to do it again and do some remixes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be, maybe it's just going to be him doing the theme. Like, maybe he'll do one track, you know?
I think it'd be lame if he didn't do all of them, but God, I hope he does. Because, having a whole new soundtrack, that would be awesome.
That would be cool. What do you think about these two mystery characters?
What do you mean the mystery characters?
Oh, I just caught that today. So when you look at the site, see the featured image for the video? Look at those two new characters in the background.
Oh, yeah. I just barely... Dude, I can't believe I didn't even notice this.
Yeah, I just noticed it when SEGA Europe, I think, or something, tweeted it out. And they're like, what are those two guys doing in the back? So it looks like one's a bionic guy, kind of like that Dr. Zan from Streets of Rage 3. And the other one looks like a girl with a guitar. So I'm wondering if maybe this girl is going to be Skate's sister, and she's going to play a guitar, and that's going to be her, like, gimmick.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. But, like, so they're two... You think they're two new characters?
I think they're two new characters, but I think one is, like, similar to Skate, and one similar to Dr. Zan. So you're getting, you know, Blaze and Axel again, but then you're getting 2 new guys, which would be cool. But I'm wondering if we're also going to have the others as like unlockables. I really do think.
If you look closely in the middle of the picture, there's another outline, but like I don't know if it's part of their design that just spills over or it's the background. But it looks like maybe if they zoom out the picture, there might be a person in the middle. But who knows?
Maybe the villain.
Could be the villain, yes. And it could just be 4 players. Would you be okay with that? 2 new characters and 2 returning?
I think that would be cool. Yeah, it's kind of like Sonic Mania, you know.
Yeah. And then they could re-release it later with 2 more.
Streets of Rage 4 Plus. Yeah, right.
The other bit of news is Team Sonic Racing mobile port revealed as Sonic Racing joins Apple Arcade lineup. And this is you wrote this story, so you can tell us about it, and it's what a title.
Yeah, and so this is going to be, we think, exclusive to Apple Arcade, or maybe a launch title, and it will appear maybe on other platforms like, I don't know, what else is there? Windows, phone, Android, that kind of stuff.
I guess so, yeah.
And so, as a part of the service, you get to play the game for free. There's no ads. The question is SEGA going to also release an ad-supported one? I think that would be smart, but maybe they're going to start off with just like this. Also, the title is different. It's called Sonic Racing, which makes me think the team aspect is going to be removed, probably because it's too difficult to work into a mobile game. Like, that's just too much going on. Which actually might be beneficial, because I feel like a lot of people have, you know, we had a representative go and play the game, and he bitched about Team Sonic Racing, and I posted it up, and he was like, "Why'd you post me bitching?" And I'm like, "Well, why'd you bitch?" But
yeah.
But I get what he's saying, because it's like you dive in and you just want to play a racing game, and all of a sudden you're like, I got to work with AI opponents. So I think the team aspect will work better with real people. However, with mobile gaming the way it is, it's probably really difficult to get a 3-player, not even 3-player, but like 6 or 9 or 12 people playing and all working together. The lag would be insane. Like, there would just be so many problems.
And what do you think about these comments in your article saying that it's by Hardlight Studios? While we haven't had an official confirmation, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. They've been doing the last Sonic games.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Hardlight. I wrote this article up on my phone as soon as it broke, and I don't think I've seen, I mean, let me see, I'm checking. Oh, Apple's site just updated, I think, so that's what it is. I'm not seeing Team Sonic Racing on here. There's a bunch of like scrolling images, so it's probably buried in here somewhere. But it's not one of the titles they're pushing like at the forefront right now.
And a lot of people have been saying, at least on our Twitter feed, some other SEGA sites that will remain unnamed.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know why. But I forgot which one in the feed of all the sites we follow. But somebody was saying that anything that goes Apple Arcade exclusive is exclusive on mobile, so they won't get an Android release. That's what I've heard, and I'm like, that's a bold move for Apple if it's true.
Yeah. I mean, they must have money had it to get it.
And so, and the last bit of news is Persona the Royale officially revealed. It's going to tease a new female character. More information in April. So this is one of those, it's funny because Sega is doing this for also Sakura Wars, where they're saying that on March 30th during Sega Fest, they'll have a little bit of a tease, but they're going to do the full reveal in April. Same thing with Persona 5 here. They're teasing now. They're going to do the full reveal in April. I'm assuming we're going to get something similar to this for Sakura Wars come Sega Fest, which is going to be like a trailer where it teases the lead character and it shows you the logo, and then you come back April and we'll see gameplay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been kind of angry about this because apparently it's for PlayStation 4, not for Nintendo Switch. So we don't know if there's going to be a Switch version announced. I have a feeling that they're waiting for the character to come out on Super Smash Bros. To announce the Switch port. What do you think about that?
I think that's a valid guess there. We've seen this before. We've seen Sega reveal games, and then a little bit later they're like, oh, and also on Switch.
Yeah.
I think It's nothing to get too excited about. PC ports also, it happens sometimes. They'll be like, coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, and then like a few months later, we're like, oh, and PC. So yeah, just wait. Wait.
And if you haven't bought Persona 5, it's a great entry, but this is gonna make that copy obsolete. So hey, thanks for waiting, guys. You know how it goes with Atlas.
Yeah, and one of the main characters did cocaine too. So.
The anime characters. Actually, that's one of the things that's good about like video game voice actors. They're not really that recognizable. So it's cool that like these video game voice actors like get a job, and even if you replace them, you won't be like, oh, they replaced Jackie Chan in this game. Seriously, come on, you know?
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, that's this week's news. We don't really have anything to say on Persona since the trailer's just very little of it. I'm very hyped, but the game takes a lot of hours, so I don't know if I want to restart the whole thing. It's like at least 80 hours plus game to beat. So
oof.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you guys next week. We'll talk about SEGA Fest and what they revealed.
Hell yeah.
Bye.
Bye.